Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world watching this video today. My name is Sava from Football Heritage TV. Today, I want to talk about our fan base and the need for time, patience, and quality. A couple of those attributes are things that we can control and are in our power to control. One of those attributes is definitely not within our control. But why have I entitled this video Time, Patience and Quality? Have Tottenham been playing well for the last couple of months? No, I don't think they have. Have some fans been kidding themselves that we have? Yes, they probably have. But everything is not bad. Everything is not bad. I think we've lost our first game in about 6. Yes, it wasn't a good performance. Yes, it did completely show the frailties of Ange Ball, which is so cringy. But it was one defeat in about 6. And what I'm starting to see the last 2, 3, 4 weeks is I'm starting to see lots of people question the manager. Which is fine, by the way, but I'm starting to see a lot of people saying Ange out. That is not fine. This is not fine. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, everybody is entitled to their opinion, but surely to goodness, surely we have to take things into perspective. Surely we need context around what is happening at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Now, let's start by having a look. First and foremost, I do think that our fans, we are funny. We're a funny bunch, the Tottenham fans. We're either ultra negative, ultra positive, and a few people live in that middle ground. And anyone who watches my shows, you'll know that I talk about here, there, and in the middle. Now, there were people at the beginning of the season after 10 games that went there. We're winning a league. We're the best team. We've got the best fullbacks in the country. We've got the best keeper, the best centre-back pairing. Bissouma's better than Rice. Maddison's better than everyone else. Sonny's the best player that's ever played football. We've got the best 11. We're winning the league. Now, that's crazy. Then you had people going, we're rubbish. We're going to get relegated. We can't win games. We've sold Kane. It's going to be a relegation battle. And that's crazy as well. So you've got there and there. What about in here? What about living in here where Angepostecoglou has picked up a club that was in, I don't want to say turmoil, because I don't think anyone in the top 8 is in turmoil, but he picked up a club that was kind of rudderless. It was going in no particular direction. Yes, we were fourth when Conte left, but things had started to go like that. The players didn't look happy playing the style of football. Most fans weren't happy with the style of football. The scouting wasn't great. And just come in, picked it up when we've got a brand new director of football, a brand new chief football officer, brand new football scouts, a brand new academy staff. He's brand new himself. For me, the whole thing changed in the summer. Now, there's 2 ways of looking at this. People were turning around in the summer. Like me, what I said, I'll be honest, this is what I said in the summer. This year, for me, isn't about where we finish in the league. This year, for me, was about implementing a philosophy of football. It was about scouting and buying better players than we already have, or we already had. And it was about going into next season, going into season 2. Now, I haven't changed my opinion on that. I don't care if we finish 4th, 5th, 6th. I don't care. For me, it's about, can we implement a philosophy? But with that needs to become a certain level of kind of composure. It can't just be gung-ho. And at the moment, what we're seeing is the gung-ho football without the gung-ho attacking, if that makes sense. It's everybody in the other team's half, but without really creating loads and loads and loads and loads, without wingers beating their men, without people having loads of shots. So what we're doing is we're very easy to play against at the back. We're very easy. We leave the back 4 very exposed. We don't have a lot of width because we invert. Now, that's fine. If that's what he wants to implement, absolutely crack on and do it. I'm all for it. However, this is where one of those key words comes into play for me. This is where the 3rd word in my sentence, time, patience, and quality, the big Q, that is where it is needed. You can implement whatever philosophy of football you like as a manager. Now, as fans, we have the right to say, I like this style, I don't like this style. For example, I didn't like Conte's philosophy. I like Ange's philosophy, but it doesn't matter whether I like or you like or dislike either of those philosophies. For any philosophy to be implemented and to be successful, you have to give the tools. Now, when you give a manager tools, they have to be quality. I'm not talking Mbappe's and Erling Haaland's. I'm not talking about buying Rodri's and De Bruyne's. I'm not talking about buying Mo Salah's and Virgil van Dijk's. But you do need to buy the next level up from most of what we've been buying. You've got to add quality. It's that simple. It is that simple. If you scout properly and add quality to a manager's philosophy who gets the best out of them, you will be more successful than not. Now, it's not foolproof. It doesn't mean everyone just goes to buy quality and they all win, because there's so many good teams. But if you keep buying average footballers to play a very convoluted style of football, you will not succeed. For example, you bring in Jose and Conte and you give them substandard players and wonder why they fail. Forget whether you like their style or not. That's a completely different conversation. You wonder why they fail. If Ange Postecoglou is going to succeed, right? If he's going to do what he did in Australia, in Japan, in Scotland with Celtic, he has to have quality. Now, first and foremost, we've never seen him have that level of quality, because the level of quality needed to implement what he's trying to implement here, but in Scotland and Japan, isn't the same level of quality player needed in the Premier League. So there's that to take into consideration. But this was always going to be a tricky year of ups and downs. Do I think that Ange is beyond criticism? Of course not. No manager's beyond criticism. Do I think that he's getting way too much criticism right now? I do. I think that you can criticize a manager without people thinking that you want them out or sacked. But I do think that since the defeat to Wolves, I'm seeing lots of Ange out. Lots of Ange needs to go. He's substandard. He's subpar. 3 months ago, people were singing this man's name on a concourse, talking about Pochettino's gone and we've got Ange instead. How quickly things change. So for me, I think it needs to not be there or there. I think we need to live in here for a minute. Am I disappointed with some of his substitutions? Yes. Am I disappointed with some of his stubbornness and lack of tactical nous? Yes. Do I think he needs to stay and be here for a number of years to implement something? Yes, I do. Yes, you can't keep changing manager. You can't. I've said this. This isn't just Spurs. I've said this to all clubs. I've said this to the Chelsea fans. They want to keep changing their manager. You can't keep changing the manager, right? Doesn't mean I won't and you won't and we all won't get frustrated at him. Yeah? Doesn't mean that you necessarily want him out. But we need to keep a manager. Now, is this manager going to be the manager that wins us a title in 5 years? We don't know. Maybe he's the manager that's here for 2 years, that implements a philosophy, moves on and leaves us in a good place. Who knows? But what I do know is this guy needs to be the first manager since Pochettino to see out the season, right? We can't be all singing, all dancing, going to win the league 1 week and you all love him, to the next week where it's, oh my God, he's got to go. And I'm not saying it's everyone. It's not. It's a minority of people. But the murmurings, the noise, you can start to see it as Spurs fans. You can start to see that people are not happy with him. For me, I just don't think we're as good as many people think we are. Now, should we be beating Wolves at home? Yes. That's a bad result. But I didn't ever think we were as good as people thought. For me, I said at the beginning of the season, I think we'll finish between 5th and 7th. I still stand by that. If we finish 4th, I think he's had a magnificent season. But I think where we are squad-wise and quality-wise, and manager quality-wise, 5th to 7th is probably what we are as a club. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people have just gone a little bit too excited, which is fine. Knock yourselves out. Get excited. I'm not saying don't believe. But now I think what we're actually seeing is what Spurs are. We're an up and down football team that play good football in patches. And we said at the beginning of the season, you're going to have ups. You're going to have some ups that are brilliant, and you're going to have some downs that are awful. Beating Newcastle 4-1. What a high. Yeah? Some of the football away at Arsenal. What a high. Losing at home to Wolves. Games like that. What a low. It's going to happen. But that needs to get ironed out. And that is what we need to do. We need this manager now to have a look, to tweak and see what needs to be changed. Then in the summer, it goes back over to our mate, Daniel Levy, to buy quality players in. You have to get quality football players in. Ange was always going to need time. The fans were always going to need to give patience. And Daniel Levy always needs to give quality. So you've got all three aspects, the manager, the owner, and the fan base, that all have to take their element. Now, time is something that Ange is getting. Patience is something that has run out with a lot of fans. They don't like Levy. They don't like the ownership. But patience is what's needed. Whether we like it or not, patience is what's needed. Yes, it's been 24 years. Yes, we're frustrated we've not won things. But that's not all on Ange. We need patience. Quality. This is where it hands over to Daniel Levy. You've got to buy quality. If you don't, we will never catch up with City and Liverpool and now even Arsenal, who are now 2 years in a row putting themselves up there. Quality, quality, quality. We'll see. We can only wait until the summer. We've been here many times before where we've said, well, let's see what we do in the summer. But like last summer, I think people went overboard. Thought Vicario was a good signing. Maddison and Van der Ven were excellent signings. The others were very much average for me. Again, in the January transfer window, I like Dragoshin, but he doesn't think he's ready. Werner was a very poor signing for me. Brennan Johnson was a poor signing. Valise and Phillips, again, kids. For me, you've got to have a summer where 4, 5, 6 coming in are all at the Maddison type level. That's the only way you bridge that gap. Listen, guys and girls, we could go on and on and on, but it's not as bad as some are making out. We're sitting in a lovely position. We are 2 points off of Champions League football. Now, we might get it, we might not, but we're sitting in a lovely position. It's down to us now for the next 13 games to sort this out. Okay, forget titles, forget title challenges. It was never happening. It's not happening. All right, forget all that. That was all pie in the sky, delusional stuff. We're now in a position where this is what we've got to do between now and the end of the season. We've got to do whatever Villa do and one game better. Okay, for Champions League. That's what we've got to play for now. So it's not as bad as some people are making out. It was never as good as some people were making out. Let's just try and remain a little bit calm and bring a little bit of serenity to Tottenham Hotspur. Please like, please subscribe. I'll be back tonight as we watch Everton versus Crystal Palace. Take care, everyone. Let me know your thoughts. Keep it clean. Keep it friendly. And as always, come on, you Spurs.